We know that there are many challenges facing us as a society, and from our part, it is our commitment that we will do all that we can to ensure delivery for people in Northern Ireland, to deliver stability and to tackle some of the key issues that are affecting our society, including the Northern Ireland Protocol. But let's be very clear, there is no benefit to the Westminster government intervening on what is a devolved issue, something that has been discussed and agreed amongst the parties around the table. So New Decade, New Approach has a myriad of issues within it. There has been progress on some, there hasn't been progress on others. We are dealing with the Northern Ireland Protocol. We recognise the injurious impact it is having on society, on business, on the constitutional status. Those are all issues that are going to have to be worked through.
Okay, but just
and none of those will be a surprise to anyone within the studio. What we need is to have a willingness to resolve them together. We have grace periods that are about to expire, all of which is going to bring further harm to society in Northern Ireland. It's going to impact on the economic well-being of our constituents. It's going to impact on consumers. There is a democratic deficit in that decisions will be made for our future that have no accountable or no representative voice from Northern Ireland, no say in our own affairs. All of that is wrong. And so there needs to be a resolution. There was an invitation today in Westminster, for example, to say, well, look, if we could sort out the veterinary issues and veterinary checks, then that would be a great stride forward. And I think it's a fool's errand to pick off one issue and believe that that solves the totality of the problems. You have veterinary issues, you have medicine issues. We have a medicine grace period which is going to expire toward the end of October.
Well, Edwin Poots has said he expects movement.
If we don't have a resolution to that, there's no point talking about waiting lists, Jim, if we have a protocol which is fundamentally impacting our ability to avail of life-saving medication. So there's much that can be done, but it cannot be distilled into one issue alone, because this is impacting on society, this is impacting on our economy, and this is impacting on the constitutional operation of Northern Ireland. So I do think it's incumbent on everyone within the studio, all parties around the executive table, all political parties, irrespective of their view as to how we arrived at this point,
let's hear from
to work
some
together
of them
to solve these problems. I think it's important not only to reflect on the buildings and the fabric and the infrastructure, but the human resource, the individuals who work within those specialties, consultants. We know that there are particular problems with rheumatology, for example, at the moment. If you're on an urgent waiting list for rheumatology, you'd be waiting for 233 weeks for your first appointment. If you're on a routine waiting list for rheumatology, it's 307 weeks. That's over 6 years for your first appointment. So human resource, making sure that we are recruiting for the right specialties and the specialties that are required will be hugely important. Neurology is another one, 161 weeks for routine, 288 weeks, 161 for urgent, 288 for routine. That's years upon years upon years where there is a huge deficit of skills. Those challenges are there. We need to make the right decisions. It doesn't mean that there can't be a discussion if there isn't a requirement for political consideration, but it can't just be about the fabric. It has to be about a much more holistic plan than that. I think it's been fairly suggested already that the executive needs to take advice from their own officials, from the chief medical officer, from the chief scientific officer, recognise that restrictions should not last indefinitely, that they have to be justified, that there has to be a necessity around them. And so I have optimism and I have hope, but that shouldn't be at the expense of a level of caution. I mean, I know there have been difficulties over the last period of time. I know there has been criticisms of the executive collectively and of individuals, but I have to say, given what we have faced, I think all in society, individuals who have borne the brunt of restrictions on their lives, the impact on liberty, the executive as a whole, the health service have done a remarkable job.